Hello, I'm Lydia Sweets, and welcome to my blanket fort.
I hate memorizing lines, and that's why I make porn.
I just want to do a good job. I just want to do a good job on this video. I just want it to be... I want it to be great. Or at least average. I want it to be mediocre. I want it to be acceptable. I want it to be barely presentable. Hello, I'm Lydia Sweets. Welcome to my blanket fort. You may or may not remember me from Chatterbait circa 2015. I have been off that side of the internet for about 4 years, give or take. I originally conceptualized this video as an apology back in like 2017, but I've realized since then that I don't need to apologize for anything. No one can predict or dictate how anyone experiences grief, and I just needed a lot longer than I thought I would. So, let's start at the beginning. In 2016, there was a sudden and violent death in my immediate family, and I basically fell off the face of the internet. It was kind of gradual, but it happened. So I lived on the truck with Daddy Frank for a while after the breakup with the new guy, as some of you may remember. Basically, I needed a vacation from life. I was unable to do regular pornish stuff for a few reasons. Depression, obviously. And the fact that truck stop living is just not conducive to content creation. I don't want to say I gave up, but at a certain point I just couldn't move forward with it anymore. Eventually we moved to Arizona and I got a full-time job, of all things. Then I got a better full-time job. Then we went to the symphony, I got my nose pierced, and proposed to Daddy Frank all on the same day. We got married about a month later. Then we bought a house, moved to Missouri, and I couldn't find a job. Frank changed jobs like 8 million times, and eventually I had to settle for an illegal cash under the table below minimum wage type situation. Then I was forced to quit the job, because there's no way I'm managing a store by myself, illegally, for $8 an hour. That was back in February of last year. Then all 2 of the jobs in all of Missouri I might have gotten evaporated because pandemic. Then Frank lost his job because pandemic. Then we lost the house because pandemic. Now we're living in an RV, and I'm back to having no space for things, let alone a studio. So I don't know when or how I'll be able to produce any kind of quality content. Which is funny because I'm finally ready to start doing stuff again. We also don't have reliable internet, or running water, or any modern appliances like a dishwasher. And the damn thing doesn't even run at the moment, so we're stuck in a driveway with no hookups. So yeah, things have not been great. But we're working on building a sex-friendly... Yes! Sex-positive. We're working on building a sex-positive, sex-worker-friendly collective. And if you're interested, I'll link all that info down in the description in case you want to help get the RV running, or help get the structures actually built on the property that we were able to buy at auction. Or just in case you're curious and want to see what we have planned. A few months back, I was hoping to record this video in my office at the house, but I didn't, and I was hoping to at least have the walls painted in here because they're hideous. But I can't wait on that forever, so here we are, in my blanket fort. The past 3 years have been me trying and failing to live a normal life. It was a good exercise because I think I learned a little about my own happiness and what that might actually look like. Unfortunately, a desk job, a house, and a nuclear family structure just aren't for me, and trying to force it was going to kill me, one way or another. I haven't really documented anything visually because I don't like taking pictures or video, and I didn't really see a need to. because I have no IRL friends, and I didn't have any concrete plans to ever do the cam model thing again until recently. As you may or may not know, I don't typically speak on trending issues or whatever. I'm not a journalist or activist or other person who feels the need to tell people things about stuff going on in the real world. But for the record, I'm just going to say that Black Lives Matter, fascism is bad, and wear your damn masks. Basically, my hot take is that I don't talk about my hot takes because there's no reason to. Either you're not a terrible person and you agree with me, or you don't. If we happen to disagree, nothing I say is going to change your mind, and nothing you say is going to change mine, and screaming at people on Twitter gives me crazy anxiety. In anticipation of potential questions, I have answered as many as I could think of. Hopefully I've covered everything. If not, that's fine. Offline for the most part. Generally speaking, I don't like the social aspects of social media, and I've tried to spend these past few years healing and growing as a person. And one of the things I've learned to get really good at is saying no to anything that stresses me out. Yes? Like, I took the time, I processed the things, but the dead person is still dead, and I'm still not, so until that changes, some of this pain will always stay, deep and true. I can joke about it, so that's something. I didn't reach out to you guys for support because I never really connected with you on an emotional enough level to be able to benefit from your support. It honestly would have been exhausting to try to maintain any of my social media accounts or to get on cam regularly. I just needed to take care of me. I'm okay now, most of the time, so I have the energy to engage with other humans. The point is that you don't need to lose any sleep worrying over me. I'm not going to answer that question because a member of my immediate family is enough information. The answer to that is a solid maybe. In all honesty, probably not. At least not any kind of often. Camming left a bad taste in my mouth because I would put in all the hours I was able to at the time, and I wasn't making enough income to justify that level of dedication. I just didn't have the spoons necessary to do all of the things it apparently takes to be a profitable or popular model, and I may still not. I guess we'll just have to see. I don't have anyone I can really ask for help, so I'm going to try to strike a balance between putting in the time and effort that I can without letting the hit or missness of the industry take advantage of that time and energy. I also want to actually take the time and put in the effort necessary to make quality content. Like, I never made anything I was really proud of last time. And I don't want the pressure of needing to make a living to negatively impact my health or my art going forward. There are a lot of other things that I'm interested in, and there are more and other ways that I'd rather interact with you guys, and the newbies will undoubtedly collect, so I don't want to depend on a single platform either. That said, the new American dream is to get YouTube famous for doing what you love, or what you do anyway. That's great and all, but let's be real. I do not love shooting video, editing pictures, editing video, editing pictures, and spending hours and hours on the computer shouting my meager accomplishments to the void. So congrats. If any or all of that is something you do anyway, you are truly a god and deserve all the worship you elicit. Me, I'm lucky if I can manage to be bare minimum functional for a living organism on any given day. Probably. I mean, I'm 30 now, so officially old, and I've put on about 20 pounds since mysteriously learning how to eat my feelings after the death in my family. I wasn't able to before. No tattoos or other new body mods, though. I don't like to wear makeup so much anymore, so I guess that counts as a change? That's not a question. I will link all of the relevant things in the description of this video. Emphatic no. I don't have them, and I don't have any plans for them. If you have any other questions, tough titties. I don't have any other answers. So I said I've been doing a lot of healing and growing, and that's very true. I've also done a lot of self-discovery, like the fact that I'm absolutely certain that I have undiagnosed ADHD. The main reason it went undiagnosed being that my mother is an alcoholic narcissist, so I lived in a constant state of fear for my life for the first 15 of it or so, and ADHD tends to go undetected in girls because sexism, and I'm honestly not sure who I would have been if not for the abuse of my youth. I'm learning to trust my truth or whatever. My anxiety is real, my depression is real when it gets its claws in me, my PTSD is real, and my ADHD is real, and I'm confident with my self-diagnosis on that one, so don't come for me in the comments. Executive dysfunction is my life. Day in and day out, it's a struggle to get my brain to do what I want it to do, and I don't have the luxury of seeking diagnosis or treatment or medication. Right now, Frank and I are struggling to afford to eat. A lot of people are, so this isn't my sob story or anything, just being real with you, because I'm tired of not being. The personal growth stuff has mostly been about putting myself first, validating my own feelings, making self-care a priority, reminding myself that my needs are too important, and learning to check in with myself like,
Thank you for calling Your Body. Your call is very important to us. Please listen closely as our menu options may have changed. To check your emotional state or request a release of dopamine or serotonin, press 1. To report an emergency including fire, extreme heat or cold, a hangnail, stubbed toe or other minor injury, or an attractive person looking at or judging you, press 2. For help identifying the song stuck in your head, or with a mathematical equation or other trivia, press 3. To check for thirst, press 4. To check for hunger, press 5. To check, you have selected hunger. If this is correct, press 1 now. Thank you. You are hungry for potatoes. For more information,
so much better. Anyway. So good. So good. Anyway. I also spent a lot of time developing my craft and building a routine made of small but important habits that can actually help me achieve my long-term goals. I've had mixed success. Last time I tried the internet personality thing, I kept a lot of things private because I felt that I had to. Oh my god, cheese, get on my fork. I kept a lot of things private because I felt like I had to in order to be successful. And to keep my feelings from being attacked. I'm a highly sensitive person. Remember my tolerate everyone, even when they're abusive because my feelings don't matter policy? Yeah, that's over. I don't take criticism anymore, constructive or otherwise, because my rejection sensitivity dysphoria is real, and it makes it so that any criticism, no matter how small or insignificant it might look to anyone else, literally shatters me and sends me into a spiraling depression. I also don't tolerate abuse of any kind, because I'm a person and my feelings matter. That may seem self-evident to you, but I still have to remind myself, so meh. Anyway, my point is that I don't want to keep so many things private anymore. My history of trauma and mental health issues are too big a part of me to keep secret and still feel like I'm being open or honest. I haven't been with you guys, and I didn't realize how much that was hurting me. Like, legitimately. No one can be happy or perfect all the time. And expecting myself never to have bad days was dumb. Being afraid of rejection by strangers on the internet is dumb, because that block button is totally smashable, and that's something I can use to help keep myself safe. All that said, discovering that I have ADHD helped clear a lot of the clouds that I associated with depression, feelings of guilt in particular, and things I was always told were character flaws, like laziness, or inability to self-motivate or overcome fear of failure. No, it's literally that I can decide to do something 800 times over the course of 2 hours and literally not be able to move the whole time. It's all while trying to force my brain to focus and stop wandering off to do random shit. The struggle is real, and it's not my fault, and that's a huge relief. Now, I can't promise to be the most prolific model on OnlyFans, or to post every week on YouTube, or to make stunning artwork every month for Patreon, or to do anything or have anything finished at a certain time, but I can promise to try. And for me, that's finally enough, and that feels good. Sign-off time, 'cause segues are weird. I'd like something to call you guys that isn't you guys. I don't have any ideas that I like, so if you have a thought, feel free to leave it in the comments and I'll take a look. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, feel free not to hit like or subscribe. In fact, please don't. My videos are terrible. I'll be back, even though I shouldn't. The blooper reel on this is going to be so long, and I won't even get to include all of the funniest stuff. No, it's literally something. Want a tater tot? Validating my own feelings. Doing something else. Making self-care a priority. The other thing. Validating my own feelings. Making self-care a priority. Stop doing this with my hands. Blah, blah, blah. Oh. Day in and day out. It's a struggle to do something. Everything. All the time. Forever. And I use my brain to focus. To focus. The word is focus. No, it's... Thank you, lights. Desk job. Something else. Blah, blah, blah.